Hello, and welcome to this edition of Fulton Justice. I'm your host, Yolanda Lewis, District Court Administrator for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit. This program is dedicated to providing you with resources, information, and a closer look at how our judicial system works for you. In today's show, we will discuss operations for one of the largest public safety entities in our county, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. The role of this constitutionally mandated office is critical to the effective operation of our justice system. Today, we will examine with our Sheriff Ted Jackson some of the innovative programs that have been implemented to enhance efficiency and quality of service, save taxpayer dollars, and address some of the controversies surrounding the jail. Although the agency has been tasked with ensuring that its constitutional mandates are met, the sheriff has taken a proactive approach to being a more performance-driven organization with close ties to the community and a genuine interest in making a positive impact on the lives of young people here in Fulton County. Stay with us as we embark upon a great discussion with Sheriff Jackson about his strategic vision for the future of his office and proposed strategies to address jail overcrowding, outsourcing, alternative programs, and recidivism rates here in Fulton County. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Joining us now is Fulton County Sheriff Ted Jackson, who was recently reelected to a second term as the highest law enforcement official here in the county. Welcome, Sheriff.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. Well, I want to talk about, of course, a lot of people want to hear about the jail, but let's start with the basics. Can you tell us what a sheriff is statutorily required to do in each of our counties?
By Constitution, the sheriff runs the jail, provides court security, and upholds the federal and state laws, and does educational prevention for crime.
Okay, and so everyone knows that we run one of the largest operations. Of course, you run one of the largest operations as far as the sheriff's office is concerned here in Georgia. Can you talk about how large your organization is at this point?
We have the largest sheriff's office in the state, and we have a total of maybe 1,100 employees, and we also have a reserve force, about 100 volunteers. They have the same authority as our deputy sheriffs, but they help out when we're short on events. They help out and they do the same duties as our deputies do.
Okay, and so how many of those employees are focused on the jail or other functions like serving warrants and things of that nature?
Today at the jail we have about 652 employees. These are civilians as well as sworn. Civilians play a great part to the jail as far as intake, keeping records, releases, and other functions that our sworn officers do not get involved in. In the court side, we have deputies and civilians also that provide protection to the court system as mandated by the Constitution. And we have a law enforcement division where we have deputies that serve warrants. They're involved in law enforcement activities with state and federal agencies to protect the citizens of Fulton County.
Right. I think a lot of people hear about having deputies in the jail, but the truth of the matter is that you're responsible for the security of the entire justice complex, correct?
For the justice complex, as well as being the only law enforcement agency in the county that has total jurisdiction for the whole county. So we have responsibilities to protect the citizens of the entire county.
And one of those things that you do, as you mentioned, you have a deputy in each one of the courtrooms in addition to other spaces within the justice system.
Generally, we're supposed to have 2 deputies in each criminal courtroom and a deputy in other less, secure-wise courtrooms. And we also have to provide protection entering and leaving the courthouse. And right now we're in the process of developing the state-of-the-art command center. It should be completed by April to provide additional protection not only inside but outside the courtroom.
That's very important. Now, I know that you have been a sheriff that has been very involved in the community, and we're going to talk about some of the things that you're doing. But tell me just one of the most memorable moments that you've had as sheriff since you've come on board.
Well, it's been quite a few, and it's hard to level one, but I think we're most proud of what we do with the youth. We know that young people, if they don't get direction early on, will end up in the jail, and we try to prevent that. And we developed a program 2 years ago called the Youth Intervention Program. And this program, just briefly, we deal with 10 to 18-year-olds the third Wednesday of every month. We bring them in with their parents, and we talk with them to educate them on bad behavior. We start off in the morning. I meet with the parents, and we talk with them about the behavior issues. And sometimes these youth are good. They haven't gone bad yet. The parents have a sense that if they don't do something, they could go bad.
Right.
And then from there, they go to the courthouse, and you're aware that Judge LaGrua meets with them with an assistant district attorney. And after that, they go to the jail, and they talk to probably the most hardcore inmates that we have who work with us. And the reason we do this, the inmates tell us that when they were in the third and fourth grade, they fell behind in class, and then they were kind of cast aside, and they just continued until they were able to drop out of school. And then they engaged in criminal activities, some of the most violent offenders that we have, and 1/3 of them are 17 to 24 years old. And what we're trying to do is prevent the next generation.
Right.
And I think the part of it being a proud moment is when A&E picked up on it and came to visit with us. And we had an episode on November 8th last year, and we already been filmed for an episode for this year.
Right.
And so those are proud moments because not only we're making a difference here, but across the country, people that see it, they send in to A&E and talk about the program.
Right, right. So I want to talk about a little bit about the jail now, which is, I think, what most people hear about in the news or if they are watching a commission meeting and things of that nature. I know one of your goals in 2011 and 2012 was to make sure that you address the overcrowding issue in the jail. So can you talk a little bit about if you've accomplished some of those goals and where you are to date with that strategy?
Well, when I first became sheriff, our population exceeded 3,000. This was 2009. And all the justice partners deserve credit with this. The accountability courts make a difference. All of us working together. Judge Wright monthly, the first Monday of every month, we all sit around the table. The commissioners have worked with us, and we've made strides in reducing the population. Part of that has been accomplished because of the crime rate. And we're noticing this year the crime rate's starting to take off a little more, so we could be facing it. But with all the programs that we have, we've been able to reduce the population to under 2,300 consistently. But with crime, it's a measurement.
Right.
It's up and down, up and down. So we're very cautious as of now because March generally is a month where the population does go up. But we've tried to develop programs in the jail and through the recidivism reentry program to provide a mechanism where the inmates, when they leave, we can get some after care for them because we have an 82% recidivism rate, which means 82% of the people that come through the Fulton County Jail come back again, again, and again, and we've got to stop that. And I think all the justice partners recognizing this and working together, it's made a difference.
So the outsourcing budget, I know we recently saw with the commission that your budget was actually cut for outsourcing.
It was eliminated.
Yeah, it was eliminated. So tell me the importance of outsourcing and where we are now after that budget has been cut.
Well, the outsourcing budget was eliminated. And what we did over a period of 4 years, we were able to reduce the outsourcing budget from 12 million down to a little over 3 million, and then it was eliminated. It was eliminated based on a short-term premise that the population is down, and because it's down, we can house all inmates according to the consent decree, which allows us up to 2,500, which we can't use every bed because of other issues we can talk about later. But the problem it presents for us is if the rest go up and the population goes up again, according to the federal consent decree, we have to outsource, and we don't have a choice or we'll be in violation of consent decree.
So with that being said, and because we had an extensive outsourcing budget, is that one of the things that make Fulton County unique as far as our jail is concerned, or are there other factors to consider that also make our situation unique?
Well, our situation, I don't know if we can use the term unique, but when the jail, we moved in 1989, it was too small, and so we've got to look at long term, and we've had master plans after master plans that tell us the population. We need 500 more beds by the end of 2016. So it's based on the population, which we have no control over.
And how are you assessing how many beds you'll need?
Well, we do a classification when people come in. When inmates first come in, and this is not a sheriff's administrative issue, these are jail standards, this is the law. We have to provide a safe and secure environment. And most of the inmates I mentioned earlier, 17 to 24, 80% are violent offenders. And when I say violent offenders, murder, rape, carjackings, really violent offenses. We have gang activity, and we have to keep all of them separated. And sometimes you cannot use every bed. You got to keep them separated, not only to make them safe, but have a safe environment for our employees, which means that we can have 2,500 beds, but we can't use every last one of the beds.
And so the gang situation has that really changed the dynamics in I guess the 2 years that you've been here? Have you seen a change in the way you've had to manage high-risk inmates?
It's been a change because the gang members are younger and more violent, and the offenses they're facing are so serious, they have nothing to lose by engaging in good behavior, even though we try to work with them. But if, for example, if you're 17 years old and you're charged with 3 murders, and you know that if you're convicted, you're going away for the rest of your life, what deterrent do you have to engage in good behavior? And that's what we're facing. So it makes it tougher for our employees. They work very hard. We do the best we can with them.
Okay, this is really good information. We appreciate you being here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we're speaking with Sheriff Jackson, who leads the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So I want to follow up. We were talking about some other things that were happening in the jail, but I want to talk about the jail lock situation. I know we've heard a lot about that over the last 2 months. Can you talk about where we are with the jail locks and have the ones that you have now made the security situation better in the jail?
Just a little bit of background. When the jail was first built, the locks they put on were for minimum security, and at the time it probably was okay.
Right.
But as time went on and the offenders became more violent, they tend to want to get outside of the cells. And so it's been a problem for a while. What we decided was that because of the gang activity, the threats to our employees, and the safety of the inmates themselves, that we were going to have to do something about the locks. And so we took $53,000 from the Inmate Welfare Fund to put some locks on for a test. And these locks have been on at least 9 months, and these are the right locks. And we know they're the right locks because the Department of Corrections just purchased the same locks for one of their prisons because they were having the same issue. And there are other jails and prisons throughout the country that are purchasing this lock because this lock is state of the art. They call it the Fulton County lock, and it can't be defeated. And the real purpose for these locks is to keep the place safe.
Right.
We've seen a lot of news accounts where inmates have owned up and actually demonstrated how easy it is to get out of the cells. And they get out of the cells to attack each other because we do have the gang activity and we have to keep them separated. And it's really a serious issue. And we're obligated by law and by the Constitution to provide a safe environment.
So let's talk about contraband. I know several people have heard conversations about phones in the jail, and I think you've done a lot of great work to resolve that. But let's talk a little bit. First of all, describe what contraband is, and then talk about what the consequences are for those individuals who try to bring contraband into the jail.
Well, contraband is defined as items that are not supposed to be present in the jail. They're not allowed to smoke cigarettes. And of course, drugs are not allowed. That's illegal anyway. They can't have cell phones. And items, they also have items that they can use for weapons, screwdrivers and cigarette lighters and other kind of things that just aren't allowed. We identified a problem in 2009 with drugs and cell phones. And the problem became so enormous, we realized that we needed to get help. So we went to the federal authorities in June of 2010, and for 1 year they investigated, and we determined that they actually had a distribution network within the jail.
Wow.
And we were able to uncover it, and the people responsible are in federal prison.
Wow.
One of the deputies actually got 10 years in federal prison for not only smuggling contraband, but also protecting undercover drug operations.
Wow. So is that the same penalty for citizens who may be coming into the jail and trying to bring things in as well?
Well, those, they're charged locally, and it's up to the district attorney's office for charges. But we have a zero tolerance for contraband. But people will tell you they will still, cell phones are a real serious issue. I think within the state of Georgia there might have been 8,000 uncovered last year. In the state of California there are about 100,000 cell phones.
Right.
In the prison systems, cell phones are an issue. So we've developed technology to detect cell phones, but occasionally we still find a cell phone here or there, or a marijuana joint here or there, because you know, some of our employees, and I've used this term before, are conflicted and they don't know what side of the bars they belong on, and they will take chances at bringing contraband in. No matter what we do or say, it still happens, and it's, you know, dealing with the type of population that we have.
Right. And so I guess the point from that conversation is that while we have challenges here, these are not central to Fulton County. These are challenges that other jurisdictions are having across the country.
And there's not one jail in this country where you can't smuggle something in.
Right. So let's talk about body scanning, because I think that's something new that you've implemented at the jail, one of the new technologies that you've been working on. Why is that required, or why have we gotten to the level that body scanning is something that we should use?
Well, one of the things we're concerned about is the safety of the other inmates and our employees. So we have to make every effort we can to uncover any kind of metal items or cell phones or anything that's smuggled in when they are arrested. Some people will put devices in places where you don't put them.
Right.
And this device that we have, if you sit on it, it will detect metal anywhere in your body and any kind of opening that you might try to use. And it helps us protect. And we have been able to find weapons and as well as cell phones attempted to be smuggled in.
And so the body scanning is for the individuals who are coming into the jail. Do you use any type of technology like that with the folks that are actually incarcerated?
Anyone that comes in through intake that's arrested
Either or.
has to sit on it.
Okay.
And we do that to protect people on the inside.
Right. Now, I want to get back to the rehabilitation piece just a little bit, because I know you have several programs, specific programs like your Floor Tech program and things of that nature that you are actually running in the jail. Talk about, has that made a difference with the recidivism rates or the people that you see after they go through those programs?
Well, we can't really measure because we don't have the statistics yet to show that. But what we can talk about is examples. In the Floor Tech program, this is a program that's done by Goodwill. And it not only helps the inmates develop a skill, but it helps to keep the place clean. And we have a culinary program as well, where we identify inmates that we can trust to work in the kitchen and help out with preparing food. And they get a certificate. In both programs, they get a certificate. In the Floor Tech program, they're guaranteed a job by Goodwill once they're released. In a little recent story, one of our inmates graduated from the Floor Tech program and went out, got a job, and he came back to the jail and showed his paycheck.
Oh,
and to
awesome.
me, that's incentive for others that might want to make a change. And when we talk to most of the inmates, they really don't want to be in the jail, but circumstances around them cause them to end up there. And what we try to do, we have a living skills program, we have GED, we have other programs to try to help them, because if they want to turn their lives around, I think we have an obligation to work with them.
So I know that you are trying to take a very proactive approach to what you're tasked with doing every day. So talk about any future trends, things that you will have to implement that you see are important in the future, things that you think will really be game changers for the way we do business here in Fulton County.
I think there's twofold. it's one with the young people to change the next generation. So if we can have an impact, they won't end up there. And the others, the ones that get there, to help them develop skills where they won't come back. And one of the programs that you're aware of with the recidivism reentry program is a great program if we can fit the type of inmates that we have into the program. But some of our inmates are violent offenders that the program won't even fit. So our job is to identify those that we can help and try to help them. And what we want to do is get more organizations involved, those that have networks or programs that can help us, because we can't do it all ourselves, and we don't have the funding to do it all ourselves, and we do need help. And I'm always looking for people willing to come in and help us. And a lot of them have come in, and once they see I guess the obstacles ahead of them, we don't see them again, but some do come. And we've had some volunteers come in with the literacy program and the GED program to help. And we've partnered with Atlanta Metro in order when they get a GED or high school equivalent, then they can go there and develop their skills even further. And those are the kind of things that we're looking forward to.
So interestingly enough, you need volunteers to help you with these programs.
And we always do, and we never turn anyone away. And we do, I mentioned, we do have 2 chaplain programs. One chaplain program at the jail that gives spiritual guidance to those on a voluntary basis, no matter what denomination they are. And then we have another chaplain program that we call part of our outreach program, where we work in the community. And we have about 60 of those chaplains, and we do initiatives with the homeless, with adults. We're trying to make a difference. Even though our role is law enforcement, we feel socially we can make a difference as well.
That's good information, very good information. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Fulton Justice. Sheriff, before we close this segment out, I just wanted to have you offer some words of wisdom for those individuals that may find themselves entangled in the justice system, and 2, just a message to our young people about the perils of getting involved in crime.
Well, I'll start with the young people. They need to engage in good behavior, because in the real world, to give away your life for committing a crime, it's not worth it. And one of the things we, as members of the Sheriff's Office, we're to serve the public, protect the public, and we're assisting any way we can. But there's a certain line you don't cross, and when you commit a crime, you got to do the time.
Right. Sheriff, thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Fulton Justice. If you have questions regarding today's topic, please call the Fulton County Sheriff's Office at 404-612-5108 or visit their website at fultonsheriff.org. Thank you for joining us. I will see you next time.